Good evening, good evening. What's up, folks? Welcome to another live Carolina Panthers talk stream brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming. I'm your host, Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram, coming at you once again on the U to the 2. So, Carolina Panthers making some more moves earlier today. One move was a great move. The other move was kind of a head scratcher. Just kind of a head scratcher. So, more coaching staff changes as the Carolina Panthers recently lost Jason Simmons, who went to the Raiders, and we have replaced him, bringing back a very familiar name who is also a Charlotte native by the name of Steve Wilks. That's right. We are bringing back Steve Wilks to be the defensive pass coordinator / secondary coach for the Carolina Panthers. I have to say, when I heard his name is back into the mix, I was very happy. You know, Steve Wilks, I felt like he did a good job during his time with Carolina. I know as far as head coaching, not so well. I know he had an opportunity to coach the Arizona Cardinals. That didn't go too well. But overall, I felt like he did a great job. You know, secondary coach, defensive coordinator. You know, I felt like he did a good job. Another one with a lot of experience. And you know what? I think putting somebody like him with the secondary that the Carolina Panthers have, I think is a great move. I think it's a really great move. Him working as defensive pass game coordinator and also secondary coach. I think that's a great combo with the Carolina Panthers' current secondary, for sure. So, you know, just a little bit of background on Steve Wilks. Like I said, he's a Charlotte, North Carolina native, so he's from around here. 52 years old. He went to App State, so went to college over there in Boomtown. Like I said, he's got a lot of experience. Let's see. He's played for the Charlotte Rage in a Arena Football League team. Now for coach, he has a lot of college and NFL coaching experience. He's been a defensive coordinator for Savannah State. He's been a head coach for Savannah State. He's been a defensive coordinator for Johnson C. Smith University. Defensive backs coach for places like Illinois State, App State. He's been a defensive coordinator at East Tennessee State. Defensive backs coach at Notre Dame and Bowling Green. He's been a secondary coach for the Washington Huskies. And then when you look at his NFL career, let's see, he's been a defensive backs coach for the Chicago Bears, for the San Diego Chargers. He was a defensive backs coach for the Panthers from 2012 to 2014. And then he got upgraded to do both defensive backs and assistant head coach for the Carolina Panthers from 2015 to 2016. So, of course, you know, he was there when the Carolina Panthers last went to the Super Bowl. So keep that in mind. He also then got promoted once again to assistant head coach / defensive coordinator in 2017 with the Carolina Panthers. And then he got his first opportunity as a head coach in the NFL, where he coached the Arizona Cardinals in 2018. Didn't go too well, being that they ended up finishing 3-13 that year. So didn't really do too well as a head coach, but went back to went to the Cleveland Browns defensive coordinator in 2019. Then was the defensive coordinator just this past year for the Missouri Tigers, back to college. And now he is back with the Carolina Panthers as the secondary coach and defensive passing game coordinator. So, like I said, a lot of experience, especially on defense. That's his specialty. And, I really feel like there's quite a trend here. You look at the lineup with this coaching staff. It's quite loaded with experience. So let's look at the tally now. So we got Ben McAdoo for offensive coordinator. We got Chris Tabor for special teams coordinator. A lot of experience there. We got Paul Pasqualoni for for offensive line? Or no, that's D-line. D-line. So we got him. We got James Campen for offensive line. And now we're bringing back Steve Wilks for defensive pass game coordinator and secondary coach. So this coaching staff has been reloaded with a lot of experience. I mean, that says something. And it kind of worries me because even though it's coaching staff full of experience, I mean, they're all going to be working under head coach Matt Rule. That worries me. That worries me. I mean, I hope it goes well, and I hope that they can coexist together because they're going to be working together for this upcoming season. And I just really believe that this coaching staff can hopefully complement the potential talent that we'll have going into next season. I mean, like I said, somebody like Steve Wilks paired up with the secondary that we have. Because, I mean, we know by default, we know we're going to have A.J. Bouye. We know we're going to have Keith Taylor. We know we're going to have C.J. Henderson. We're going to have J.C. Horn, who's going to be making his comeback. I just really, really hope that we can keep Stephon Gilmore. Like I said, I think D-Jack, I don't see us bringing him back. But I still think, Jeremy Chin. Still got Jeremy Chin. We'll have to see what we can do at safety. I know we got a young Kenny Robinson. I know we got a young Stanley Thomas Oliver. So, I mean, I think them paired up with a Steve Wilks, I think will be really, really good in helping to evolve this talent. Because, I mean, really the oldest one out of the bunch I just named, really the oldest one is AJ Bouye. And it's not by much. I mean, he's 30, but, everybody else is pretty young. I mean, the Keith Taylors, the J.C. Horns, the C.J. Hendersons, the Jeremy Chins, they're still very young. So this will potentially be a young secondary. Like I said, unless they can bring back Stephon Gilmore, I really hope they can. I think we'll see some good results. Evolve those players and then get coached up by Steve Wilks. I think that's a good combination. I think that's something that this defense can work with, the secondary can work with. So I really like this pickup of Steve Wilks. Already has some experience with the Carolina Panthers franchise on 2 other stints. So I like this pickup. I definitely like this pickup. I think this is good for the Panthers secondary. I mean, which already the secondary looked great overall. I mean, there were some ups and downs, but definitely a secondary I feel that we can really work strongly with. So, welcome back, Steve Wilks. Glad to have you back. I think it's a good pickup. Looking forward to see what you can do with this secondary and as the defensive pass game coordinator. Let's do this. And then Carolina decided to bring back another player on a one-year deal. They have brought back long snapper, 36-year-old long snapper J.J. Jansen, who has been the team's long snapper 13 seasons. 13 seasons with Carolina. It's a long time. Okay. So just a little bit of info. Like I said, I linked the two articles. Played 209 career games and could potentially break John Casey's record of 221 games with this franchise. So, and don't get me wrong, J.J. Jansen has been consistent ever since the beginning. Consistent ever since the beginning. But here's the head scratching part. Here's the problem. So I don't know if y'all remember, but y'all used a 6th-round pick in last year's draft on a long snapper by the name of Thomas Fletcher, who spent the entire season on injured reserve. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand, JJ's getting up there in age, but here's my thing. Being that this was one of your first signings, especially this year, this is one of your first signings. Don't y'all think y'all are regretting using that 6th pick on another long snapper that didn't even get to play a snap with the team? Oh man, I really don't get this move. I mean, J.J. Jansen, you've played for this team a long time, but I really don't get this move, especially considering the fact that this franchise drafted a long snapper in last year's draft. I don't get it. I don't get it. Y'all see the problem here, right? Y'all see the problem. We legit wasted a 6th-round pick on a long snapper that was on injured reserve all last season, all this past season, and we're just going to bring back J.J. Jansen on another one-year deal. So were y'all not planning on letting this Thomas Fletcher heal up in the offseason so he could actually come back in the upcoming season and be your long snapper? You gotta spend some money on J.J. Jansen, who is little by little getting up there in age. I'm not saying he can't play, but I mean, this is how you start off by bringing back J.J. Jansen. Like really? That's y'all's first move? I don't get it. I don't get it. I really don't get it. This is y'all's first move? And when you look at it, like I said, y'all could have used that 6th-round pick on a much bigger need at the time. I mean, shoot, y'all could have gotten another lineman. Y'all could have gotten a tight end. Y'all could have gotten a safety. Like, I mean, I know it's the 6th round, but y'all used it on a long snapper. And then you turn right around and you give J.J. Jansen another 1-year deal. I don't get it. I really don't get it. Help me to understand, because I don't get it. This I can't say that I agree with this signing. Especially not it being their first signing is bring back J.J. Jansen. Like, some of that money could be used to try to negotiate and contribute to bringing back Stephon Gilmore, bringing back Hassan Reddick. Shoot, if special teams were who you were going to concentrate on, then it really should have been Zane Gonzalez. Because before he got here, we ain't have a consistent kicker. Joey Sly ended up failing us. Ryan Santoso ended up failing us. So, like, I guess this is one of those we just got to trust the process or whatnot, whatever that might be. But this is kind of a head scratcher of a move. Because like I said, what was the point in using a 6th-round pick on a long snapper? It just ends up being a wasted pick. We used a 6th-rounder on a long snapper, didn't play all last season, and then we turn around and we give J.J. Jansen another year. I don't get it. I really don't get it. So that's pretty much what went on today. Also, there's something else that I thought was kind of strange. So the New Orleans Saints, not to get so far off topic, but this just came to mind that I wanted to kind of mention. So the New Orleans Saints ended up promoting their defensive coordinator to Dennis Allen as head coach. Now, word is that they also interviewed Eric Bieniemy. And word is that they spent time with Eric Bieniemy for at least about 7 or 8 hours in this interview process. And yet they just end up upgrading this defensive coordinator that they have, Dennis Allen, to be their head coach. I don't know if there's any Saints fans that end up seeing this or whatnot, but if you ask me, that just seems really shady. Because it's like, I'm sorry, like, you go interview somewhere for 8 hours, and then they interview somebody else, definitely not as long as that, and bam, they just pick them up. I don't know. I would just feel like my whole time was wasted. Because you would think interviewing somebody for 8 hours, that's a long time to dedicate to an interview. And for it to go that long compared to someone else doesn't last as long or anywhere near as close, and bam, they just get promoted like that. Just, oh, we're gonna promote you from defense coordinator. You're gonna be our new head coach. Just like that. Like, it looks shady. It looks shady. That's all I'm gonna say. And maybe I'm wrong, but it looks shady. And I give the Texans credit. They brought in Lovie Smith to be their new coach. They were probably thinking something like, hey, we might want to do the right thing. Let's bring in Lovie Smith. That's what it kind of seems like. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what it kind of seems like. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that. Like I said, no big deal. I was just really curious to give my thoughts on that. I will say that right now it sucks to be Alvin Kamara right now. What he's going through with that battery charge. Yikes. Yeah, that. Sorry to hear that. But yeah, Super Bowl's coming up this Sunday. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be very interesting to see what happens this Sunday. But yeah, I mainly just wanted to get on here, talk about the recent signings. Like I said, Carolina's bringing back Steve Wilks to be the defensive pass game coordinator and secondary coach. Great move. Welcome back. Think he'll be a good fit. And then first signing of the year, we're bringing back J.J. Jansen, long snapper J.J. Jansen on a 1-year deal. Despite us using a 6th-round draft pick last season to draft a long snapper who didn't even end up playing a single snap because was on injured reserve. And yet, we're bringing back J.J. Jansen. Some of that money could be used towards bringing back a Hassan Reddick or a Stephon Gilmore, but yet, first move, J.J. Jansen. Despite us having a long snapper that we drafted. I don't get it. I really don't get it. But let me know what y'all's thoughts are, because, like I said, I'm happy for the Steve Wilks hire. The J.J. Jansen signing, that's weird. Oh, hey, what's up, Mr. Gemini? It's going pretty good. I'm doing good. Kind of happy and confused about, today's Carolina Panthers news, but yeah. What you think about the signing of Steve Wilks, and then we're bringing back J.J. Jansen on another 1-year deal? What are your thoughts on that? Because, yeah. That that was a head scratcher. That was a head scratcher. But I just this coaching staff is loading up on a lot of experience, but yet they're going to have to coexist with Matt Rule at the head of the helm. Can it be done? I hope so. I really hope so. Because the recent hires, that's a load of experience. A whole big old load of experience. And like I said, we still need to hire a wide receivers coach. That's a vacancy that we still got to fill. But like I said, my two dream choices are Steve Smith and Torrey Holt for wide receivers coach, but doubt it'll happen. Mr. Gemini says, not going to change the offensive line and quarterback. That's what I gotta say about that. LOL. I mean, well, my whole thing is us re-signing J.J. Jansen when we already have a long snapper. I mean, we used a 6th-round pick on a long snapper, and Thomas Fletcher didn't play all last season because he was on injured reserve. I mean, I would have thought maybe we would give him an opportunity to heal up this offseason and work out and see what we can do, but we're bringing back J.J. Jansen when I feel like some of that money could be used to contribute to bringing back Hassan Reddick or Stephon Gilmore or Zane Gonzalez or Frankie Louvu. You know what I mean? It's like, but the first move we do with bringing back a player is J.J. Jansen. Yeah. I really don't get that move. I don't get that move at all. Yeah, why bring back JJ if you drafted one in the draft? Yeah, exactly. Not to mention, JJ's getting there up in age. He's 36 right now. And I'm not saying he's a bad guy. I mean, he's been consistent. He's done his job since coming to the team. But dang, like, what was the point of drafting Thomas Fletcher in the 6th round? What was the point? We could have gotten a tight end. We could have gotten another D lineman, an offensive lineman, a safety, something with that six pick. But got a long snapper. I don't get it. I really don't get it. But like I said, at least getting Steve Wilks back was a big positive. He has experience. He's worked with this team before. I think him being paired up with the secondary that we have, I think is definitely a big positive. So I'm happy for Steve Wilks. Like I said, didn't do too well as a head coach, but still, he's strong when it comes to defense, defensive coordinator, secondary, those type of things. So I'm happy for Steve Wilks coming back. I think that's a good pickup. I think that's a really good pickup. I believe he can do some positive things with our secondary, which is a very young secondary. Still got a very young secondary. You know, if we, minus Dante Jackson and potentially Stephon Gilmore, I think the only oldest player in the secondary on the team would be AJ Bouye, who I believe is 30. But yeah, everybody else is young. CJ Henderson, J.C. Horn, Keith Taylor, Stanley Thomas Oliver III, Kenny Robinson, Jeremy Chin. You know, a lot of young guys. A lot of young guys on that secondary. So got quite a bit to work with. But like I said, to recap, so Ben McAdoo is offensive coordinator. Chris Tabor, special teams. James Campen, offensive line. Paul Pasqualoni, defensive line. Steve Wilks, defensive pass game coordinator and secondary coach. Like I said, all we need now is a wide receivers coach. Now, I don't know how big of a gig Steve Smith has, but like I said, that would be my first choice to talk to about wide receivers coach. If anybody who is well known in this franchise that can coach up any wide receiver, it's Steve Smith, Senior Agent 89. Only other choice I have would be Torrey Holt, who is a North Carolina native from Gibsonville, played at NC State, is a Super Bowl champ. I'd say Torrey Holt would be a great option for wide receivers coach. So those would be my top two picks to coach up the Carolina Panthers wide receivers. I mean, you get somebody like Steve Smith or Torrey Holt, pair them up with, DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, who are still pretty young, or at least DJ Moore is. Pair them up with a Terrace Marshall Jr., with a Shi Smith. I mean, that's some sweet young talent that Steve Smith or Torrey Holt could really coach up. I mean, the oldest one out of those four, I believe, would be just Robbie Anderson. Okay, Robbie Anderson's 28, so he ain't even 30 yet. Robbie ain't even 30 yet. Shoot. Hold up. Yeah, he's not even 30 yet. And then you got DJ Moore, who's still young, 24. Shi Smith's only 23. And like I said, Terrace Marshall, 21. I mean, there's a lot you can do with that under the tutelage and leadership of somebody like a Steve Smith or a Torrey Holt. So hope that's something that they consider. I mean, I don't really know who else is out there on the market to be wide receivers coach, but may want to see where they're at. I mean, Steve Smith and Torrey Holt, I know Torrey Holt's in his 40s. Steve Smith, I'm pretty sure, is also in his 40s. Yeah, 42. So, I mean, you got a young guy there. Got a young guy. So, that's what I think. But, well, just have to wait and see what else this team decides to do, this organization. But I'm just hoping that the coaching staff can coexist under Matt Rule. And just this upcoming season, I feel like this has to be the season where Matt Rule gets it right, or else he's gone. And when I mean get it right, it has to equal out to Carolina making the playoffs. If that doesn't happen, he's out. So I just really hope that this works out. But it looks like the coaching staff is about to be straight. Now it's just a matter of players. But just learned that we got J.J. Jansen for another year. So welcome back, J.J. Jansen. I don't know why, but welcome back. Thomas Fletcher, there's no telling when you're going to get thrown into the mix. Just worry about healing up and recovering, I guess. mean, that's really all I have left. I mean, I don't really have much more to say in all honesty. I think really just interesting day for the Panthers. Good signing and a weird signing. So let me know what y'all's thoughts are. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss a video. And like I said, we're still in the hunt for a wide receivers coach. Let me know some suggestions. Who do you think should go after? And Super Bowl is this Sunday, so we'll see what happens. Anyway, this has been another live Carolina Panthers talk here on the YouTube, the Tube, brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming. I'm your host, Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram. Hope everybody has a blessed evening and a continued blessed week. And I will see y'all very soon. And, as soon as the next video. Love y'all. Peace out. Good night. Oh, hold up. Mr. Gemini, I just saw your question. Why don't they play Phil Hoskins? Well, they played him in the what? They played him in the last 2 or 3 games of the season. Last time I checked, if I remember correctly, they played him the last two or 3 games of the season. Not as much as they could, but I mean, he did see some action in the last 2 or 3 games. So, I mean, that's another young guy. It's another young guy on the D line. But hey, Mr. Paul Pasqualoni will be helping to coach him up, as well as the other young guys. But the D line still does need some tweaking, because I don't see Daquan Jones coming back. I would like to see Marquise Haynes come back as a rotational edge rusher. But from the looks of things, it looks like I really don't see Hassan and Brian Burns being there next year. But there at least needs to be one or the other on the team. At least one or the other. Like if both are gone, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. Because I know there were talks about trading Brian Burns and stuff like that. No. If they're going to trade Brian Burns, then they need to keep Hassan Reddick. If they're going to let go of Hassan Reddick, they need to keep Brian Burns. It's got to be one, the other, or both. It can't be zilch. Because that ain't going to work. That ain't going to work. So, I would like to see more Phil Hoskins being played next season. Like I said, we got some guys on the D-line. Hopefully, Derek Brown will continue to evolve. And like I said, we got to tweak that interior. I mean, we still got Davion Nixon. We got Bravion Roy. So we got some young guys on that interior D. But really should consider getting somebody to go alongside Derek Brown. Like another big-name veteran or something like that to go. I mean, there were even talks of maybe the idea of bringing back K'Wan Short. But like I said, I think really a good priority should be focused on, can they some way, somehow bring back Stephon Gilmore, Hassan Reddick, Zane Gonzalez, Frankie Louvu. If they can bring back at least those 4, I'd be super happy. I'd be super happy if they can bring back those 4. So we'll see what happens. I'm nervous. I'm very nervous, especially after today. But just trying to stay positive. Just really trying to stay positive. But we shall see. Anyway, if there's no other questions, because I want to make sure I didn't miss anybody. If there's no other questions, I am going to. Oh, here we go. Mr. Gemini says, and the mock drafts have us taking a quarterback. Yeah, I'm not thrilled about that, but here's my take on that. I'm not thrilled about it, but here's the problem with them taking a quarterback. Two things. One, if that's the case, are they going to address the offensive line and free agency to the fullest? And secondly, what are they going to do to address the missing second and third round picks of this upcoming draft? If they're going to draft a quarterback, then they need to counterbalance that with addressing the O-line and free agency and working some sort of trades or whatnot to get that second and third round pick back. Otherwise, there's going to be a big gap between that first round and that the fourth round. Because remember, we got a first round pick and we don't pick again until the fourth round. That's a ginormous gap. That's a big gap. That's not going to work. If they don't address that, then it's almost like saying that it could be a bust. Hey, what's up, Joe Valesco? Oh, folks are showing up now. Why does people say said to trade Brian Burns? They're thinking. I know there's a couple of people. One, because if they were to pick between Hassan Reddick or Brian Burns, they would go with Hassan Reddick because Brian Burns does have a habit of over pursuing. And secondly, Brian Burns, I guess, is the favorite among folks to sacrifice to get a better player or somebody of a more significant need to the team. That's why I was saying, Joel, if they're going to do that, if they're going to trade Brian Burns, then they need to keep Hassan Reddick. If they're going to trade him, then they need to keep Hassan Reddick. If you let both of them go, that's a big, gigantic mistake. Big, gigantic mistake. So, because like I said, I like Marquise Haynes Sr. as well. He's a good rotational defensive end, can rush the edge as well. But yeah, we cannot lose both Brian Burns and Hassan Reddick. That'd be the dumbest mistake. Biggest, dumbest mistake. But yeah, I know when it comes to the quarterbacks, there's a lot of people saying Malik Willis. There's a lot of people saying Kenny Pickett. I mean, honestly, I just really feel like right now, offensive line is so much more important. Hey, Tito Z, haven't seen you in a while. What's up? What's up, champ? Keep Reddick and Burns. Find a way to fix the middle D, and on the O-line, we may be stuck with Sam and Cam. Yeah. Here's the thing, Tito Z. I am totally okay with sacrificing another year with Sam Darnold. Because here's the thing. If we zone in on fixing our O-line to the fullest, then you know what? Sam Darnold can't make any more excuses. He's going to have to play. And if he's getting consistent protection, then really it's all on him. It's on him to be able to make the plays. Because it would make no sense to have that much time consistently and you can't make the plays. So, like I said, building the O-line, I feel, should be top priority. It's something that we haven't had in a number of years. We've at least had a quarterback. So, I'm with you on there, Tito Z. And like I said, D-line, the interior D needs some tweaking for sure. We got some young guys, but I think a really big veteran presence on the D-line would be great. Middle linebacker position, safety. And like I said, personally, I really would love to bring back Hassan Reddick, Stephon Gilmore, Frankie Louvu, Zane Gonzalez. Those are my four. Mr. Gemini, what do you think about Washington's new name, the Commanders? LOL, it's corny. Most generic, basic name ever. They stole their name from the San Antonio Commanders from the AAF. Well, the Washington Commanders. I mean, it could be worse, I guess. It could be worse. I mean, if anything, I'm curious to know what other Washington fans feel. I'm curious to see like how other Washington fans feel about the name. Joe Valesco says, "I like their uniforms." Yeah, their uniforms are pretty sweet. I'll say that their uniforms are pretty sweet. Washington Commandos, they really didn't put a lot of thought to this. Mr. Gemini says people are going to call them the Washington Commies. Yeah, that's another thing too. I mean, I just don't think they really gave it much thought, personally. I mean, I could be wrong, but out of so much they could possibly imagine, and they settled on the Washington Commanders. Well, I wonder what the are they going to have a mascot? Are they going to have a mascot? Because I would love to see what the mascot design would look like. Just, what the field is going to look like. They're gonna pimp out the field. I don't know. I mean, the Washington Commanders. Well, I mean, it's not my team. Wouldn't be my first choice, that's for sure. But I mean, like I said, it could be worse, I guess. Oh man. Even Chase Young gave it an F, and they still went with it. SMH. Yeah. I heard that the feedback wasn't too. Yeah, I heard the feedback wasn't too good. Oh man. You know what? I'm kind of curious. I'm gonna indulge. I'm gonna indulge for a little bit. I kind of want to see what folks maybe on the team Facebook page are saying about the new Aaron McFarlane says Commanders is a Bush League name for a Bush League franchise. Dang. Apparently the Washington Commanders' new mascot is General Custer? The heck? Is that real? Well, oh man. Well, I mean, yeah. Tito Z said they chose it, so let it be. If the team was 50 years old, we would not even care. That's a fair point. That's a fair point. Let's just be glad it's not us. Let's just be glad it's not us. Oh man. But well, I mean, some people are for it. Some folks are like hell to the Commanders, I guess. I mean, I'm sure original you know original fans are well, yeah. So who's gonna play? Who's gonna play a game? Who's gonna play a game of Madden under the new Washington Commanders name and team and such? Mr. Gemini said they don't command anything. If they still lose them, the name is going to be even more of a joke. LOL. Yeah, yeah, you're right about that. Oh man. Well, I mean, I get, yeah, yeah. I really don't know what else to say. So, I mean, congratulations to the Washington Commanders. But I mean, but then again, y'all, let's be serious though. Let me switch gears for a bit. I mean, can we really talk smack? Because we have to remember, y'all, even though they weren't under the Washington Commanders name, they still beat our butts this past season. They still beat us. They still beat us. So we might want to regroup. Then Tito Z says, "Hey, the Saints were once called the Aints." Mr. Gemini said, but it's ironic though. They changed the name of the Redskins to the Commanders, which supposedly killed the Redskins. Yeah, that's another good point too. Like with that name change, yeah, like I said, I don't think they really gave much overall thought to this name. But I mean, it's already bad enough that we lost to the Washington team this past season. We turn around in our next game that we play against the Washington Commanders and we lose, we really can't say jack. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. That should fuel us to want our team to do even better. Because we also got to remember, as much as I hate to bring this up, y'all, we lost to the entire NFC East. And next season, we're getting ready to play the entire NFC South twice, the entire NFC West, and the entire AFC North. Not to mention both teams that are playing in the Super Bowl this Sunday, we got to play next season. So we got a lot of stuff on our end to get together. Yeah, Tito Z, we got our butts whipped to the Giants. Yeah, the Washington game was a close game, but we lost to Washington, Dallas, Philadelphia, and the Giants. But yet a lot of fans, and I'll go ahead and bring this up since there's a couple of y'all here. I'll bring this up. I don't know what is up with a lot of Panther fans that are so driven behind the fact that the Bengals made it to the Super Bowl with a mediocre, so to say, offensive line. And we're just supposed to just follow that example just because they made it to the Super Bowl. Folks got to realize and remember the Bengals are a better team than us for a reason. You know, their record is better than us for a reason. And it shows why their record is better than us. I'm just saying, there's really no comparison. There's really no comparison. You try playing 10 straight games with our O-line and switch the quarterbacks out. How many games do you seriously think we're going to win? I'm just saying. Just because it may have worked doesn't mean that it's going to consistently work. How many times do you think getting sacked 9 times in a game is going to end up turning into a win? How many times do you think that's going to happen? Folks got to remember, you know, just because something's going a certain way doesn't mean it's consistently going to do that. Joe Velisco says, yeah, they have a better quarterback and a better coach. Yeah, facts. Tito Z says, we suck the past 2 years, and yet Joe Brady gets a coaching job. Thoughts? Oh, yeah, quarterback's coach for the Bills. Yeah, that. Well, I mean, they didn't pick him up to be offensive coordinator, so, I mean, I guess that says something. Quarterback's coach, I mean, I don't know if that's a position he's ever had before, but yeah, I know what you mean, Tito Z. I know what you mean. But yet, we won't let go of Matt Rule. I don't get it either. I don't get it either. But like I said, it's something that just kind of drove me a little crazy. What a lot of the fans are saying, just this is why we got to get a quarterback. This is why we got to get a quarterback. I'm like, sure, but that's not going to be enough. Not to mention, you gotta look at the defense that the Bengals are going to be going up against in the Rams. They got a great defense. Like I said before, play 10 games straight where your offense gives up 9 or more sacks, or better yet, 6 or more sacks. And tell me how many wins out of those 10 games you think will be wins. 6 or more sacks each game. I bet you it would be less than 5. Folks have got to stop doing the whole, the Bengals can do it. They made it to the Super Bowl. We should be able to do the same thing. No, it don't work that way. Don't work that way. 2 totally different teams. I'm sorry, bump what the rankings say, but their O-line is definitely better than our O-line. Like it's really not a comparison. Not to mention, we finished 5-12. They 10-7. They 10-7. Mr. Gemini says, so who do you think will win in the trenches in the Super Bowl? Here's what I'm thinking. I feel like the Rams are a little more of a complete team than the Bengals. So I think the Rams have the advantage, especially with them having technically the home field. If anything, if the Bengals defense can play like they did that second half against the Chiefs, then all their offense has to do is capitalize. And then that's where the Bengals can be dangerous. Because Joe Burrow has showed that he can be a playmaker. So, if anything, I definitely believe the Rams have the advantage, especially in the trenches. But if anything, I don't see the offense playing lights out for the Bengals. I just don't see it. Rams have a habit of getting some good, consistent pressure, and I just think it's going to be tough. It's going to really be tough. I mean, the Bengals are definitely, clearly the underdog. Not to mention, Matthew Stafford is playing the best football he's ever played in his career right now. And you best believe if the Rams win the Super Bowl on Sunday, you best believe Detroit Lion fans are going to lose their mind. I bet they're probably going to feel like one of the dumbest franchises in the league. So, and Odell Beckham has a chance to win a Super Bowl as well. Shoot, you know he's going to eat that up. As much as Odell Beckham has gone through, for him to ultimately redeem himself and win on Sunday, oh man, he's going to eat it up. Tito Z says, we have no philosophy. The New England way was the only way for Belichick. Rule is a piecemeal at best, and we need to find a way and stand by it. Yeah, you got a great point. You definitely got a great point there. Mr. Gemini says, because like you said, the Bengals offensive line gave up 9 sacks to the Titans, and the Rams defensive line is better. Yeah. And then, another example, look at the Chicago Bears. Justin Fields, he ate 9 sacks earlier this year, and they lost. So, I mean, not 9 sacks, that ain't normal. Shoot, even 6 sacks, that ain't normal. If your O-line or whatnot, if you're facing a D-line and they get 6 sacks on you, there's a big problem. And like I said, you look at this defense. I mean, Aaron Donald, Leonard Floyd, Von Miller, and they brought back Eric Weddle, and they got Jalen Ramsey. This defense is going to be a big issue for the Bengals. And like I said, on offense, the weapons the Rams have, Cooper Kupp, Cam Akers, Matthew Stafford, Odell Beckham. Shoot. And I'm pretty sure, what's his face? Tyler Higbee. I believe he's probably going to be out for this game. But there's no kidding that the Rams are the favorite. Tito Z says, best believe that Miller and Donald are going to be on their A game on Sunday. Oh, I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it at all. Mr. Gemini says the Panthers gave up 5 or 6 sacks a couple of games, and look how that turned out. Yeah. And our O-line definitely ain't consistent. So, I mean, yeah. But like I said, definitely you don't want to count out the Bengals because you have to also look at who the Bengals have defeated up to now. The Raiders, the Titans, the Chiefs. They knocked out the number 1 and number 2 seed back to back. So definitely don't sleep on the Bengals. Definitely don't want to sleep on them. I think the battle between offenses is definitely going to be very interesting. And just think, Elijah Holyfield is with the Bengals, and he's a former Carolina Panther. Eli Apple, and he's a former Carolina Panther, who apparently Matt Rule said that he would never play anywhere else. And he's going to be in the freaking Super Bowl. Matt Rule, that's Matt Rule for you. That's our coach. Stand-up guy. We got to deal with him for yet another year. But like I said, we make the playoffs some way, somehow next season. I could see them. I could see him staying, but only if we make the playoffs. Only. Nothing less. I think we got to make the playoffs in order for Matt Rule to even have a chance at staying. Mr. Gemini said, I wonder how Jared Goff is feeling. Oh, he's probably feeling, man, can't believe this happened to me. I'm with the freaking Lions. They sent me to one of the worst franchises. Tito Z says, just an opinion, the DBs and safety will make the game on Sunday. Very, very possible. Very possible. Like I said, I think we're going to be in for a very interesting game because, I mean, I don't think a lot of people would have predicted from the beginning of the season the Cincinnati Bengals representing the AFC in the Super Bowl. The Rams, what the NFC has, the Rams definitely would be a contender, would be up there. Especially being that it wasn't too long ago that the Rams were in the Super Bowl. Of course, they lost to the Patriots. But I don't think a lot of people predicted the Bengals to be in the Super Bowl. But I just got this feeling that if some way, somehow the Bengals do win the Super Bowl, then Panther fans, all sorts of Panther fans are going to be like, see, this is why we got to get a quarterback. Bump the offensive line. This is why we got to get a quarterback. Joe Burrow did it. It's like, 2 years and Joe Burrow did it. That's why we need to get Kenny Pickett. We need to get Malik Willis. Oh, man. You should have a call-in show. I would. I would like to. I just didn't think I would be popular enough for people to call, to be honest with you. But I mean, hey, I might consider that. I might consider that. Do you think the Chiefs will be back next season? Mr. Gemini says, probably. I don't see why they couldn't be. I don't see why they couldn't be. I mean, they kind of had a rocky start in a way. I mean, once they got to the Giants game, then they got on a big win streak. So I mean, the Chiefs kind of had a rocky start, but still finished the regular season 12-5. So I mean, do I see them in the playoffs next year? Probably. Because I mean, you got to also think, who else is in that division? The Broncos, the Raiders, the Chargers. Broncos, I really don't think are a threat yet. Raiders are iffy. And the Chargers are definitely a threat. So I think the Chiefs is an easy pick. But they may have some opposition in the Raiders and in the Chargers. The Broncos, I'm not convinced. So, but like I said, if anything, I'm just really nervous about next season, especially with our schedule, y'all. Like I can't stress it enough. Our schedule. Which I know it hasn't been built out yet, but we know who we're playing, and just we're gonna have a much harder schedule next season. It's crazy. I mean, the only games I could see that aren't really, well, no, I'm not gonna say that, because we lost games this past season. We lost games to teams we had no business losing to. Tito Z says the Chiefs needs a Debo to play the new Y-back position. Would be nice. He's been great for the Niners, indeed. He's been really great for the Niners. Mr. Gemini said the NFC South should be the easiest games. You would think. You would think on paper they would be, especially now that Tom Brady's retiring, Sean Payton's stepping away. They got Dennis Allen filling in for head coach for next season. The Falcons, I mean, Matt Ryan, he's getting up there in age and such. You would think on paper that the NFC South would be the easy games for us to win. But being that we only won 2 of them last season, and we lost to an entire NFC East, and then we got to factor in we got to play those games, the entire NFC West and the entire AFC North. Shoot. The Cardinals, to be honest with you, I feel like out of our whole schedule, I feel like the Cardinals is probably the only team where we somehow the last couple of seasons have had their number. I think pretty much ever since the NFC Championship, we've pretty much had the NFC West Arizona Cardinals. I feel like we've had their number. But yeah. Joe Valesco says, do you believe the Saints are going to keep Jameis Winston? Maybe. Probably. Oh, their situation's interesting. You know, him, Taysom Hill. That situation's interesting. I mean, probably not. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. He's not really my ideal type of quarterback. So, I mean, if it was me, I'd say no, but I know a lot of folks were like, he threw for 30 plus touchdowns in the season. Yeah, he also threw 30 plus interceptions in that season. But I don't know. If it was me, I wouldn't. But yeah, looking at this list of opponents, the Cardinals, I feel like, are the only team that I feel like we've had their number for the past couple of years. The Steelers, I don't even remember the last time we've beaten the Steelers in a regular season game. The Broncos, I mean, shoot, I don't even remember the last time we beat the Broncos in a regular season game. The Browns, shoot. I don't even remember the last time we beat the Browns in a regular season game. We beat the Lions recently, so I'm not too concerned with the Lions. The Bengals, shoot. The Bengals, shoot. Yeah, they're going to be dangerous. I mean, they're playing in the Super Bowl. The Giants, I mean, not even the Giants are a gimme. We lost to the Giants this past season. Badly. Mr. Gemini says, the Steelers don't have Big Ben anymore, though, so we might beat them. They're still a threat. They're still a threat. Even without Big Ben, they'll still be a threat. They'll still be a threat. Because you also got to remember, Mike Tomlin is their coach. They'll still be a threat. Seahawks. I mean, we've had some success against the Seahawks, but it's been a while. It's been a while. Ravens. I don't even remember the last time we beat the Ravens. The Rams, they're playing in the Super Bowl. So, I mean, realistically, y'all, looking at, like, as of now, Joe Valesco says the defense. Oh, yeah. Steelers defense usually it's pretty devastating. So that's another thing to keep in mind. But nah, the Steelers are still a threat. Like I said, it's been forever since we last beat the Steelers in a regular season game. There's a reason. Looking at this list of opponents, y'all, the only games I could see us winning. Oh, I forgot to mention San Francisco. We got demolished the last time we played San Francisco. I think the only player that played well the last time we played San Francisco was McCaffrey. But we got destroyed in that game. Mr. Gemini says, but the Steelers might draft Kenny Pickett or Malik Willis. Now that you mention that, what are they at in the draft order? They are pick number 20. So in the first round, they are pick number 20. So they could get a quarterback. Yeah, they could get a quarterback. The Tankathon has them going Trevor Penning, that offensive tackle out of Northern Iowa, but I'm sure a quarterback will fall. But we'll see. We need Tito Z says we need a tight end to show up and produce. The last was Olsen. I mean, I like Tommy Tremble. I just don't think he's gotten as many touches as he could have had. But I like Tommy Tremble. I think Tommy Tremble can definitely evolve into a playmaker. He just needs the opportunities. Because the dude has potential for sure. And I'm pretty sure we're probably not going to be keeping Ian Thomas. So getting another tight end to complement the opposite side would be good, would really be good. So definitely grabbing another tight end, I think will definitely be in the books. Because I don't see them keeping Ian Thomas. I don't see them bringing him back. But next season we might get lucky and sweep the Falcons. We could probably sweep the Falcons next season. Maybe. The Saints. Well, I mean, we split the Saints this past season. And even with no Tom Brady, I still don't see us beating the Bucks. I don't see it. Because they still got a barrage of talent on that team. So if anything, I could see us maybe sweeping the Falcons and maybe splitting with the Saints. But I do not see us splitting or sweeping the Bucks next season. I just don't see it. Like I said, the Cardinals, I think we could still beat the Cardinals because I feel like we've had the Cardinals number for a number of years. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Realistically, on paper, I would think we should be able to sweep the Falcons, at least split with the Saints, beat the Cardinals, beat the Lions, beat the Broncos, and beat the Giants. So that's what? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You would think on paper we should be able to win at least 7 games, which, I mean, wouldn't be enough to save Matt Rule's job. But just looking at the schedule on paper, I would be happy if we got 7 wins, but I wouldn't be surprised if we got worse than 7 wins or just another 5-win season. Because we just have a bad habit of losing games that we have no business losing. I mean, it happened last season. It happened the season before last. We just have a habit of losing games we really have no business losing. So, because I mean, when you think about it, to name some teams, Falcons, Giants, Washington, Philadelphia. That's 4 right there. That's 4 right there that we really should have won. At least 4. We should have had 9 wins. We should have had 9 wins. Mr. Gemini says, I don't know what's going to happen this offseason, though. It's going to be interesting. Oh, I think we're going to have one of the most interesting off seasons in the league. Is the NFL going to do the 18 games again? Probably. Tito Z says the past year I predicted 6-11 and we went 5-12. According to the next season, I'm more afraid. Yeah, and I don't blame you, dog. I don't blame you. I don't blame you because with Matt Rule behind the helm again, that's one reason to be nervous. 2, I mean, we have to wonder, are they going to address the missing 2nd and 3rd round draft picks? Who are they going to bring back? What are they going to put their main focus on? Quarterback or offensive line? And just who are we going to pick up? There's a lot of questions to ask. And, you know, I give them credit. The coaching staff that was just hired might not be the most appealing, but it's loaded with talent. Or, excuse me, wrong word. Loaded with experience. I understand that Ben McAdoo is not a fan favorite, but he has something that Joe Brady didn't have, and that's experience as offensive coordinator. And if he ends up doing a much better job with the talent and the play calling than Joe Brady, that's a big plus. I'd say that's a big improvement. So, I mean, something to think about there. So, Mr. Gemini said, it might not happen, but if we get Russell Wilson, it would be nuts. Well, I would love that. I would definitely love that. I know he's not a North Carolina native. I mean, he did play at NC State, but I mean, I would love that. Not to mention, he had a great showing in the skills competition at Pro Bowl weekend. But I would love Russell Wilson. I would definitely love Russell Wilson to be our quarterback. I'd be down. I'd totally be down. Tito Z says, my grandma's a beast and she can split the guard and tackle and make a sack. Then we can go 9-8. Sign me up. Shoot. Sign me up. I can dig that. I can definitely dig that. But, man, we really... And then, of course, there's a lot of talk with, are we going to trade Christian McCaffrey? I just don't know of a team willing to take on that contract. I don't see it. Who would take on that contract, y'all? I don't see a team taking on that contract. Mr. Gemini says, Russell Wilson played with the minor league baseball team in Gastonia. Oh, did he really? Oh, see, I did not know that. Oh, okay. Played for the Asheville Tourists in Asheville, North Carolina. Oh, he was a second baseman. Oh, okay. Wow. Okay. Cool. See, I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that. Tito Z says trading CMC is dangerous for both teams. Facts. I'm still not a fan of the idea because of the dead cap and because I don't see any team willing to take on that contract. So, I mean, if anything, we just gotta hope that CMC can get back to some sort of healthy. But I think the best way to do that is to move him to the slot, let him play primary receiver. And like I said, if you want to do like they did with Curtis Samuel, run him out of the backfield occasionally, that's fine. That's fine. Tosses, sweeps, that's fine. But let his primary role be in the slot. If you want to occasionally split him out wide, that's fine too. Because if anything, Christian McCaffrey has the hands and the speed to be wide receiver. Is he a small guy? Sure. But hey, if Steve Smith did it, why can't Christian McCaffrey? I'm just saying. Steve Smith can do it. Why can't Christian McCaffrey? McCaffrey's got great hands. He's got speed. How often do you see Christian McCaffrey drop a pass? I'm just saying. Yeah, Tito Z, you're right. Move in the slot. We need to get our value for what we are paying him. Facts. Double, triple facts. You not only put him in a position where he will less likely get hurt, but you utilize him for his other strengths as well. There's a reason why he had a season of 1,000 and 1,000. There's a reason that happened and that he's that dynamic. So when you see one area not really going too well, you still got the other area in the passing game that you can use him in. I mean, he got 1,000 yards receiving and 1,000 yards rushing in the same season. So when you can't use him consistently in the run game to keep him, healthy, receiver, he's had 1,000 yards receiving in a season. Move him there. Let him play there. And not only do you do that, but you open up the door for not only Chuba Hubbard, but you can even consider a 1-2 back combination and throw in a power back. Which I heard the potential of maybe Marlon Mack from the Colts being on the market. I think that's one name that I heard that could be on the market. Shoot. I mean, that's somebody I think would be a good consideration. So that's my whole thing. Tito Z says, "Hell, I don't recall him getting hurt from a tackle this season, just running himself into injury. If I'm wrong, when did he get hit?" So I know of the Texans game, it was a non-contact injury. When he came back, which I believe, was it the Dolphins game? He got hurt. I think it was the Dolphins game. I think it was the Dolphins game, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it was. Because I'm trying to think. Here, let me see if I can pull it up. Because McCaffrey only had 10 carries that game. So, yeah, I don't remember exactly where it was. But I don't remember it being a hit. I definitely don't remember it being a hit. And like I said, I could be wrong. But yeah, I'm actually looking at it. It was in the it was in the first half, I believe. But yeah. Tito Z says, highest paid running back from no contact injuries. This cat is getting paid sitting on the bench. I mean, as bad as it is to admit it, it's the truth. But at the same time, when you account for 90% of the offense, everything eventually adds up. And he's being used in at least 85 to 90% of the offense. So, I mean, when you're getting that many touches, it's going to add on. It's going to really add on. So, I mean, when you think about it, this season, McCaffrey, in the 7 games that he's played, he's had 99 carries. and 37 receptions, targeted 41 times. So, I mean, shoot, even in 2020, in the 3 games he played in 2020, 59 carries. 17 receptions, targeted 19 times. So, I mean, Tito's, he says, do you tell a pimp to not put the best trick on the street, hurt or not? What in the world? That is a very strange analogy. What the heck, man? That is a very strange analogy. But, I mean, well, they can't make you any money if they're hurt, right? They can't make you any money if they're hurt. So, you know what? I'm kind of curious. So, according to this matchup, 66.3% chance the Rams win, 33.7% chance the Bengals win. Well, those numbers don't surprise me at all. They do not surprise me at all. But, I mean, this showdown between quarterbacks is going to be very interesting. I mean, just looking at Matthew Stafford, which I can't believe he's already 34 years old. But looking at the year that Matthew Stafford has had this season, played in 17 games, a 67.2 completion percentage, 404 completions for 4,886 yards, 41 touchdowns, 17 interceptions, a QBR of 63.8, a rating of 102.9. The only other season closest to that was 2011 with the Lions, where he threw for 5,038 yards, 41 touchdowns, and 16 interceptions. So, man, Matthew Stafford is playing like legit the best football in his career right now. And he has an opportunity to seal the deal. And shoot, who's to say that Matthew Stafford might even consider retiring after he's won the Super Bowl? Might play for another year or two, and then he could retire. I mean, he's 34 years old. So, I mean, Matthew Stafford, shoot, he's another one that could be eventually retire, especially if they win Sunday. And then you look at Joe Burrow. And he has a 70.4 completion percentage, 366 completions, 4,611 yards, 34 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. QBR of 54.2 and a rating of 108.3. I mean, This is gonna be a good duel between Joe Burrow, the youngin, the 25-year-old Joe Burrow, who's showing a little bit of swag, and the 33-year-old Matthew Stafford, who still apparently has plenty left in the tank. Mr. Gemini says, "Oh, you retracted." But yeah, like this is going to be an incredible QB duel between Mr. Joe Burrow and Mr. Matthew Stafford. Should be good, y'all. Should be really good. But man, it's going to be an exciting game. I believe it's going to be an exciting game for reals. Mr. Gemini says, I'm surprised the Falcons are keeping Matt Ryan as long as they are. Yeah, that's another interesting one. Matt Ryan, which Matt Ryan, 36. I mean, here's the thing with Matt Ryan. I mean, you look at his numbers. I mean, the dude has still been able to produce. Not only that, we have to also remember Matt Ryan has had a very healthy NFL career. That's another thing to keep in mind. Matt Ryan has had a very healthy NFL career. I mean, you look ever since he started back in 2008, games played, 16, 14, 16, 16, 16, 16, 16, 16, 16, 16, 16, 15, 16, 17. That man has stayed healthy his pretty much nearly his entire NFL career. So, I mean, that says a lot. That really says a lot. And been able to put up yardage in the 4,000s on average. You know, average is a good, 23 touchdowns, passing touchdowns a season. And overall, there have been a number of years where he's actually done a pretty dang on good job and not turning the ball over. 2018, only threw 7 interceptions. 2016, 7 interceptions. 2010, 9 interceptions. I mean, let's not underestimate Matt Ryan. Yeah, he's getting up there in age, but we still can't underestimate Matt Ryan. We got to also remember this was another, just like Cam Newton, was another MVP. Won it the year after Cam Newton. So, I mean, that's another thing to keep in mind. He's got some serious accolades. 5-time Pro Bowler, Offensive Player of the Year 2016, Offensive Rookie of the Year. Mr. Gemini says he should have a ring too. Facts. Realistically, yeah, he should have a ring. He really should have a ring. That I definitely will 1,000,000% agree with you on. He should have a ring right now. And it's embarrassing. I don't know what's more embarrassing. The fact that Matt Ryan doesn't have a Super Bowl ring, or the fact that Russell Wilson doesn't have 2 Super Bowl rings. So, but I mean, we definitely can't sleep on Matt Ryan. But oh man. And it does make me wonder, looking at the NFC South. Let's see, the Saints have the number 18th pick. Who the Falcons pick? Falcons have number 8. They have the number 8 pick. And of course the Bucks, they have number 27th pick. So, and speaking of which, who else do the Bucks have at quarterback? Now that Tom Brady has said bye-bye. Oh yeah, Blaine Gabbert. Blaine Gabbert. Well, Blaine Gabbert doesn't really scare me, to be honest with you. But then again, Sam Darnold shouldn't scare anybody. Let's keep it real. Oh yeah, that's right. The Saints do have they got a couple of folks. Jameis Winston, Trevor Siemian, Taysom Hill, Blake Bortles. Dang. It'll be interesting to see how they fix that situation. That's a lot of quarterbacks there. But yeah. But I would see maybe exploring potentially the idea of maybe looking at Marlon Mack from the Colts as a potential power back. Can have that Chuba Hubbard Marlon Mack combo. Unless they really want to keep Amir Abdullah, which I mean, I feel like Chuba will be just fine. And you get a power back in there. I think it's a nice little 1-2 combo. And like I said, you can occasionally still run McCaffrey on, some tosses, some sweeps, maybe some screens. But I would consider exploring the option of potentially a Marlon Mack, unless they want to get a running back out of the draft again. But then again, Chuba is a similar build to Marlon Mack. Just Marlon Mack has more experience. He's got 5 years under his belt. So, I mean, but we'll see. We'll definitely see. But okay, I think I've rambled on long enough. Anyway, thank y'all so much for coming through and chatting it up with me. Like I said, team has made a couple of additions on the coaching staff. J.J. Jansen's back. Yay. And we'll see what happens next. But once again, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss a video. Hope everybody has a blessed week. And I will see y'all very soon. This has been another live Carolina Panthers talk brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming. I'm your host, Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram. I will catch y'all next time. Peace.